Gee, I got a lot to say today. I'm going to start off with things aren't always as they appear. Such as, I don't think you can see right now that my left eye got a little shampoo in it or something a while ago, and it was a little red in the corner. You can't see that this shirt actually has a tear in the back, and I love it. Kind of hate to throw it away. It's good for the camera. Silk. You can't see right away that I have an earache, and it's affecting my voice a bit. And when I swallow, I want to put my finger or thumb in my ear. So you can't see those things. You can't see my injuries after being hit by 6 huge vehicles. Back in the 70s, I was hit by 2 cars at least that were big. One was on a sidewalk in Orangeburg. Driver got up on the sidewalk by going over the parcel of grass and somehow made some kind of turn, I guess, on the sidewalk, or went at an angle. I was told by one man that this person was on a CB radio. Another man offered that this person went to sleep. How do you not drop the CB radio or not wake up once you hit a curb that's 4 or 5 inches tall? You go out and measure the curb, it's probably still the same one there at the intersection of 301 and 601 in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Sometime later, I was hit by a car as I went over a railroad track in Columbia, South Carolina, near Hughie Street. Hit and run. The first one in Orangeburg, I was unconscious, and they dragged me out from under the car, and there weren't any procedures to follow that they were following there. And we soon learned who I was, because I didn't know. Even in that, not knowing who I was, I knew, looking at my bicycle, the tire needed to be deflated, because if it were left in the position that it was with a destroyed rim, it would burst. And I told somebody to let the air out of the tire. Strange how things are. In Spartanburg in the 70s, I was hit by LDP. That's the initials. I would wait on a hill for the light to change, and then I would swoop down and get a jump on the next hill. This man ran the traffic light, hit me, and as I was sitting with broken ribs on the curb, he told me that I ran the traffic light. 2 black gentlemen came over and they told me, I saw that man, and I told my friend that he was going to kill that guy. Talking about me. The policeman showed up. Nobody but LDP was questioned. I was not questioned. The two black gentlemen were not questioned ever. And that would be that would set a precedence of how I would be treated. Of course, it was set long before then, but still. LDP even visited me in the hospital. He wanted to believe his story so much. You ran the traffic light, he said. All I wanted was to be paid for my bicycle and hospital, stuff like that. I figured God would take care of me. I figured that if God were the truth and God is, that I would either be healed or on the other side. I was counting to be healed on this side. But it's been one hit after another. That was 3. I was hit in Keene, New Hampshire. Made the wrong turn on Boston, Montreal, Boston, a 750-mile ride. Turning back toward Brattleboro, it was downhill. I was brushed by a car into a guardrail. I have a scar on my stomach. I continued the ride. I want God to heal me somewhere. Somewhere along the line, somewhere, God will heal me. So that's 4. About 2 years ago now, I was hit in Orangeburg, South Carolina, riding with the great Woody Graham, hit by a mirror on a pickup truck. About 2 blocks before the finish of our ride and our vehicles. Last year, this is 2023, late August, nice, cool breeze. Cool temperature. Reminds me of Boston, Montreal, Boston being way up there, and there was frost in the night. So we fast forward to 2022, October the 7th, and I was hit about a mile or so from the house here on a busy road. I was left in a ditch. There were 5 houses on the right, 2 on the left. But the driver had to leave because the driver didn't have a phone in the car with 5 people in the car. Some with children. Don't want to exaggerate. What are the odds? It was a busy road somewhat. I leave the scene of the incident, not accident. Policeman shows up. I'm unconscious. Didn't charge the driver. The driver came back with $2,000 worth of damage to the front end that my rear end caused. So, how do you leave somebody in those ditch? Unconscious. I'm transported to Atrium Health in Charlotte. Within 48 hours, they have all the information they need. My Medicare, my VA numbers, and all that's needed. When I check out, they have all of that stuff. I don't enter a hospital on my own without paperwork, and I don't leave hospitals without leaving some type of information. Yet, even today, almost a year later, I receive a bill for $19. Mind you, they gave me the same x-ray twice. I was expecting an MRI, something different than the x-ray for my knee, which has a torn meniscus. That had to be seen at the VA in Salisbury. So we got all this stuff going on. Go out and ride your bicycle. Obey the laws. You'll be fine. Take your kids out there too. Broken clavicle. Had a scar across my butt. That was the most painful for a while. Not the broken bones, not the torn meniscus. But I had to get up in the middle of the night and move from chair to chair, couch to couch, because of a streak across my butt that was never given any attention whatsoever. Did damage to my hip. I woke very funny in the morning. Lower back was damaged. My upper back was damaged. And right now I have a little problem around the scapula here. This scapula was broken long ago. Both clavicles have been broken. Both shoulders have been separated in different things, different motor vehicle incidents or whatever. Some on my own, maybe. Some on my own. It's hard to focus right now. The looks are deceiving. I can carry on a video and you'll think nothing is wrong. Sympathy? I don't want any sympathy. I think we know where that is in the dictionary. Most Marines will know where it is in the dictionary. I gotta check and see if the video is videoing. Yeah, tried this twice yesterday. Got about 3 minutes in. I don't even know where I am, but I know that you don't have time to watch this. And that's all right. Back to Spartanburg, I called up an insurance company that was the insurer of LDP. They wouldn't even talk to me without a lawyer. Fast forward about 50 years, go ahead and hire a lawyer. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? In my circumstances, having been through that 50 years ago, was there a choice? So I hire a lawyer, bicycle advocate lawyer. I don't know what that means because I don't see any improvements on the road. I see more people driving without care, driving distracted. And I see the government doesn't care. I hire a lawyer. I don't know what the result of hiring this lawyer is. The VA sends me to acupuncture here in Albemarle. I failed acupuncture and I never would have gone there this time if I had known I would have to pay for it out of some settlement, because I failed acupuncture 50 years ago in the Montfort area of Asheville. went to an acupuncturist there. It didn't work. I wouldn't pay for it. Having medical care paid for makes a difference in what you choose. And if you're desperate, you'll do about anything, especially if it's free. Come on now. Rehabilitation from the VA didn't work. I couldn't do some of the exercises. I have hand weights in here, and I've got another video on YouTube that I present, and I've done those exercises a lot. I cannot do some of those exercises now because of injuries. My neck is damaged. My head is slush and mush, slosh. It's jello. And if you don't have an injury like this, you may not know, like Muhammad Ali might know, like football players might know, even a soccer player who got hit in the head with a ball knows. As my son knows, who's not my real son, blood son. But we look alike, although he's a foot taller. Beards. Are y'all father and son? Yes, ma'am. How tall was the mother? So because I hired a lawyer, all of the bills, the emergency vehicle, the emergency room at Atrium, the stay at Atrium, rehabilitation from Atrium, rehabilitation from the VA in Salisbury, all of this has to be paid for out of a settlement of $50,000. Aren't people underinsured? What if my health care went way beyond $50,000 to where I have to deal with that decision right now? I don't want to go back to the VA. Enough of that. I feel like going there a little bit right now because of this ear infection. Use nitrogen peroxide in it a while ago. Looks they're deceiving. So I have all these problems. And because of the way that I'm ignored and treated, I talked to the patient advocate in Salisbury. I'm called by the next rung on the ladder. And every rung on every ladder, corporate, VA, military, whatever, they're more indifferent. And they issue laws for the bottom rung. And if that bottom rung on the ladder doesn't obey those to the letter, will not their job be in jeopardy? The longer you stay at these positions, the more tenure you have, maybe more promotions. If you save money, especially. Eventually, I called the state office in Winston-Salem. I'm on the phone with one operator. I tell this operator everything. VA information, the accident information, my problem. I'm given over to another operator. I tell them the same thing, and I tell this third operator the exact same stuff. And I tell them that I've got diarrhea because of the gabapentin that I started taking for pain. I don't like hydrocodone. I don't like drugs. gabapentin, I have diarrhea today. If there's a dispute, I invite anybody to travel along with me. The fourth operator. I say, ma'am, I've told 3 other people everything that I'm telling you right now. And I've got diarrhea. I can't stay on the phone long periods of time. Calm down, Mr. Davis. This phone conversation is recorded for training purposes, I believe. If that's true, and I don't know what to believe from any government agency anywhere. And listen to it. Demand it. If you care about veterans, you care about people, you care about people in their old age, you care about people who have been hit by cars, or do you just mouth your concern for veterans, and you mouth your concern for the LGBTQ whatever when you're more likely about 10 times to be hit by a car than a person of those alphabetical letters will experience in any violence. Look up the statistics. If they're not true, then I read something else on the internet. That's all that is, and I'm not against LGBTQ, whatever letters you want. I don't care. That ain't my problem. But there ain't enough care from any of the groups, not the group of Congress, the Senate, the House of Representatives. There ain't enough care. The ACLU, please. I called the North Carolina Attorney General's office. I was telling a lady my problem, telling her all about it. The phone just went silent. I went to the mailbox, got some mail, came back in, washed a couple of dishes. I picked up the phone. Are you still there? And this lady who was answering the phone at the North Carolina Attorney General's office, she said, I said all I'm going to say. We're handled. We're handled. As far as I'm concerned, that's from hell. That's from hell. Delivered a letter to the chief of police in downtown Albemarle here. Never heard back from him. Never heard back from him. And so on. I've got some documentation about all that. My house, when I bought it, the sewer pipes, the drainage pipe, the sewer pipe from the toilets to the road were broken in 2 places. The person who sold me that house was almost 100 years old. So he's been a thief and a liar for almost 100 years. I'm sorry that he was 100 years old. Lived more than most. But to be a liar and a thief for almost 100 years, that's what you're going to leave behind? Good for you. So, here we are. There's no deterrent for the driver. There's no deterrent for the law officer who cannot follow procedure. How are things going to be safer? And I can't ride my bicycle, can? If God told me to ride my bicycle, I would. After being hit 5 times, there wasn't even any consideration. God told me to ride my bicycle. Did I hear an audible sound that would be recorded? No. Sometimes God talks to people. If you believe in God, then He will talk to you. So, there we are. Better check my recording device here. For some strange reason, it's working. How about some poetry? The theme is the blues, isn't it? I'm just telling you stuff that people go through a lot worse and so much, and it's just ridiculous. But the blues ain't always the blues. The blues ain't always blue. Blues ain't what you think. Sometimes the blues ain't blue. Sometimes the blues are soft pastels. Sometimes it's a darker hue. Maybe your baby left you in the middle of the night. Maybe she took the dog with her. Maybe Rover used to bite. Perhaps she said she loved you, but loved your best friend instead. Perhaps if she had stayed, you'd be dead without a head. A lot of folks might say God works in mysterious ways. I'd rather my walk be solitary than be tortured all my days. My God says, don't love this world. It cannot satisfy. Mama said for every time you laugh, you probably will cry. I say don't be attached. There are many forces at play. Life isn't always a bowl of cherries. Sometimes it's a creme brulee. Sometimes the tire's flat and completely out of air. Plan ahead. Take care. Always have a spare. Now the fourth operator in Winston-Salem finally sent me to an operator down in Florida. North Carolina, Florida. My problem's in North Carolina. This is the state office. Sent to Florida. Nice lady on the phone there in Florida. Nothing is done. I still get bills from Atrium Health for $19. I sent them that phone number that I was told to give to anybody that had a problem with my stuff. At a hospital that I've been to, whatever the case may be. So the VA number they can call. Still get it. After Vietnam, I was unfit for military duty. Stateside, I put in to go back to Vietnam, but I was stopped in Okinawa. Not because I wanted to kill people, but because of the kids coming in. It doesn't take long to get salty in a war zone. But the kids coming in told me the truth about LBJ, Lady Bird, and Robert McNamara, all the stocks they had, all the businesses they had that pertained to war, investments in Bell Helicopter, Ford. Okay. I'm going to give you one more poem on this and let it ride, I guess. This is all long. This is a long poem. Can't stop writing. So much to say. This is Don't Bury Me. Bury me. Are you kidding? Take up a spot on unholy ground when you've beaten me up and tossed me all around? Right now, at this time, I find it absurd. You refuse to hear me, much less read a ding-dang word. You tried to kill me. You've left me beside the road. I'll not cling to a moment of your insanity. You tried to kill me on the path where I strode. You can't hear. You can't even see. I can't even understand what you want humanity to be. Every city, I said every city, is falling apart. You obliterate the mind, you rip apart the heart. Shoot me out of a cannon, fling me out to sea. You don't care about your neighbor. Don't pretend you care about me. You want to fight? You can't see the light. You maintain obedience to all that ain't right. You're why we need term limits. And we have term limits on life, the short lifespan. You can't seek the truth, tell the truth, almost to a man. You're 80 miles an hour every ding-dang day. Oh yeah, you're speeding into the future, but you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong dang way. On my bicycle, you pull guns. You've thrown debris. You've run over me and shouted obscenities. Get off the road. Get on the sidewalk. I was hit on the sidewalk. I went to war made up by you fools. You're a lying shame. You can't take or share the blame. You can't obey your own rules. And you won't teach or preach it in your schools. The popo is overwhelmed. They can't perform a proper investigation a dozen times. You can or won't do your job. Still, I say be safe. God be with you. Still, I show appreciation. But I'm done with the attitudes, fake religion, and platitudes. I'm tired of thank you for your service and all other fake gratitudes. Don't tell me about the Israelites. I too wandered for 40 plus years. I was bruised for your iniquities, and I've cried a million tears. I'm tired of your star-spangled banner. It ought to be America's beautiful. That so few really defend. While our owners fight wars against the poor, that will never end. I said they will never end. Hip hip hooray, Tippecanoe and Tyler too, while men and women can't do what men and women ought to do. You've listened to the devil so long you can't even think. Smoke some rabbit tobacco, have another drink. You're sheared sheep. You already another lamb sandwich. Go ahead and run over me again. Leave me lying in a ditch. Don't worry about the obelisk or any other statuary. Don't give me a cross. A second thought, and surely no cemetery. Are you the Republican or are you the Democrat? Sell your manure somewhere else. You're a hypocrite. If you can't respect me now, don't take me to the church. You lost your mind, left me behind, unconscious in a ditch and in the lurch. For all those who claimed I had nothing a little to say, you've never been where I've been. I doubt you've paid the price I had to pay. It used to be that God would call a man when truth was needed to be said. Today the seminary calls and all the words are dead. Now I'm all about loving my fellow man. I'll even love my enemy too. But I might draw the line if you continue to do all the mess you always do. Make the kids swear allegiance to the flag and oligarchy, the arms dealers, Wall Street, and all the other malarkey. You'll never fool me again. But I'll send good thoughts and pray. But I'll never ever believe another ding dang word you say. I read back over all of this tripe, and sure, it has a peculiar scent. I guess I'd better destroy these salts before they ever get to print. But these words can only bother the guilty. I think I've been pretty straight. Still, I'd better destroy all the evidence. Oops. I believe it's too late. No, I believe it's a bit too late. By the way, if I may, I'm not at all bitter. But if you're around when I go down, stick my ashes in some kitty